singles first. When it comes to some of the most memorable moments in sport, of course, 2023 was enormous, but it has to be remembered as the year that completely changed the game for women in sport. The Matildas and the FIFA World Cup brought in record eyeballs, record crowds. The Matildas, they absolutely united the nation. They gave young girls a reason to dream. And as a female sports journalist working in media, I noticed a huge change in the appetite for women's sport in this country now. And the Matildas are some of the most popular athletes, male or female, in the country. Now, the most highest paid females now. Ellie, for you, as a female in this space, how have you seen things change since that World Cup?
Well, I come from an individual sport of swimming, but to see, the impact that the Tillies have had on our country has been so immense. I think we knew that, the World Cup was going to be very much embraced by Australia, but, to see how popular the Matildas have become, in fact, seeing young boys asking how they can become Matildas. I think in my Google search, it's how do I become a Matilda? Everybody wants a little piece of them. I was very fortunate to be a Beyond Greatness ambassador in the lead up to the campaign, and I really don't think that they needed anybody to promote themselves, because they certainly did a wonderful job and making history along the way as well. Like, they were incredible, our Sam Kerrs, our Courtney Vines, amazing job.
Oh, I think the biggest thing for me is not just the World Cup, was the legacy and the fact that the Matildas played only, a couple of weeks ago to pack stadiums. Yeah. Packed Optus Stadium in Perth. That says to me that, OK, this is not just a flash in the pan, this is something that's ongoing. And to me, that's the biggest thing for women's sport in general, is to make sure that this continues. It's not just one tournament, but it's ongoing.
Yeah, not get complacent.
Number one jersey for a Socceroo or a Matilda. Football in Australia is Sam Kerr, and will be now for quite a long time. I'm going to take the next one, Roz. This one's a little bit disappointing, unfortunately. It's the Wallabies, and I suppose Eddie Jones and the Wallabies. So much excitement when we first took on that particular role. We lost the first 5 matches. We lost a very close Bledisloe Cup. You thought, OK, we're on the right path. It started to come apart a little bit when we didn't pick some players with experience, especially Michael Hooper. And then we saw just at the start there the bag fall over, wearing the Kubra a bit funny, then giving it to all the journalists saying, you give yourselves an uppercut, this is the worst interview I've ever given on rugby. From that moment on, then hearing that he'd already spoken to Japan, and then the unravelling, only beating Georgia and Portugal, and then really the embarrassment of what's happened since. Eddie Jones came with such... Well, I believed in him. In Eddie we trust, and I said that many, many times. Now I feel like we've been let down, and I don't mind the results, it's just the way that he's done it. So for me, off the back of the absolute success of the Matildas, sorry to bring the mood down, but Eddie has had an absolute Barry Crocker.
That's a forgettable moment.
It sure is. Yes, exactly. Let's hope we don't forget it, though, so we can move forward.
We can learn. What stands out for you?
Well, I have an unforgettable moment, I think, in our Australians Dolphins swim team. Competing in Fukuoka, obviously we have a huge rivalry within the US, within our Dolphins, that dates all the way back to Sydney 2000. But our swim team, we had a record gold medal breaking haul for those World Championships. And this is a swim team that really replicates what we saw in the golden era of Sydney 2000. But we've been able to manage to do that without hosting an Olympics, without the funding that goes behind the swim team for the Olympics. So we're having a red-hot swim team heading into Paris next year. We've got the likes of, Kaylee McEwen, who has broken multiple world records this year. Molly O'Callaghan, who broke a 14-year-old world record in Frederica Pellegrini. And, Sam Short, now the fastest Australian of all time, breaking Grant Hackett's record. Like, we have a red-hot team going to Paris next year. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah, bring on the Olympics, I say. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Well, I'm going to move to cricket, obviously. I've got to say the Ashes was the highlight for me. I was lucky enough to be over there to watch that series and to work for 9 on that series. To see Australia start the way they did, to get 2-0 up. The only disappointment was we didn't win the series, but it was a terrific series. In an era of T20 cricket, and we're now doing the one-day cricket, white ball cricket is sort of taking over, but I think we saw that Test cricket still has this place in our hearts, not just our older hearts, but younger people there. And what happened at Lord's, that controversy actually only added to the series. It wasn't a great day at Lord's, really, for the game, but it made the event. Even people got dancing, which is probably not what you should do. It was a lot of fun to be there. It was a series that I think it grabbed not just people in England, but right back here in Australia. The numbers on telly were terrific for that series. So it was great to see Test cricket right back where it should be, at the top of the tree in world cricket.